Hey guys! Alright, so this is my first vlog about CLPP, the conference I went to over this past weekend. I vlogged about it. The last few entries were about CLPP, so I recommend you go check those out. Still going to give you a little bit of an overview right now though. So I was in Amherst, Massachusetts at Hampshire College for the CLPP conference, which stands for Civil Liberties and Public Policy, From Abortion Rights to Social Justice, Building the Movement for Reproductive Freedom. Cool. Mouthful, right? Because it encompasses a lot. And there were lots of workshops, speakers, different interactive things. It was really awesome. And if you've read my last entries, you know how freaking happy I am right now. Going there was like just the recharge that I need to feel totally jazzed about activism again. And I've been really happy ever since I got back. I noticed that today I subconsciously wore all hearts, like my heart dress, my amazing heart watch, even wearing my awesome heart mirror shoes, whatever, they're awesome. In any case, yeah, I'm super happy and I'm really excited to share so much of what I've learned with you guys. But yeah, as I said, the title is very long and it encompasses so much, and so I've been having like anxiety about trying to figure out how to break everything down to talk about it. Because so much of the conference is all about intersectionality and how many different issues are all interconnected, and how do we even broach that possibly. So I thought a fun thing to do would be to go through some of the goodies that I got at the conference. I got this like giant purse to like stash all of my goodies in. It's massive, it's perfect to fit my life in, and you've managed to fit everything in the conference in it. In any case, I've divided some of that up into different things that I collected and I'm going to be blogging about. I thought this might be a fun way to introduce like future articles to come. Alright, so yeah, at the conference, around the circumference of the big room that we were in, there were tons of different tables with different vendors and different organizations, artists, all types of stuff, with different swag and information. So I'm just going to go over some stuff. So starting off, we're going to keep it light. What's a reproductive rights conference without condoms? You can't talk about reproductive rights without talking about contraception. When we say reproductive rights, that does not mean just abortion. It means taking steps to prevent the need for an abortion. Condoms are good, and a lot of them are really fun, so I wanted to collect a bunch like this, like puzzle piece. I guess they're camping, about to have sex or something. That's cool. Oh, pinup. Hot pinup. Oh, dropped one. I love safe sex because you should respect yourself and your sexual partners and be safe. Boring Trojan. Ooh. Magnum Trojan. Oh, this one's pretty. Okay, alright. Yeah, so yay for condoms, I guess. So I got those. Some pins. 1 and 3. And that stands for the 1 in 3 campaign, which represents the 1 in 3 women who will have an abortion in her lifetime. When we talk about abortion, it's amazing how we never actually talk in the context of the women who are actually having these, because it's obviously very common, more common than we think, because it's so incredibly stigmatized that we don't talk about it. We never hear from these women, which makes sense because with the rhetoric that's out there, it would be really scary to come out and be brave enough to say that that's happened to you. The 1 in 3 campaign works to break that the stigmatization, and women share their stories through videos, through writing, which is very brave, telling their stories. And I think whether or not you're pro-life, anti-choice, or not, you should be hearing from the people that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, their voices are kind of relevant. Anywho, vote as if your life depends on it. That's a good one. We are the movement. This was the official clip for CLPP this year, and that's how you go to all the conferences, to eat the yummy food. Conference is pretty sweet. Oh, I love this one. I love pro-choice boys. I like this one a lot. Yeah, pretty much. I would never date someone or sleep with somebody who was anti-choice. If you don't think I should have the rights to make decisions about what's going on here, you're not going to get in there. F that. So, I like that one. All right, of course, we have some stickers. Love stickers. Classic. This is what a feminist looks like. Of course, anyone can wear this because there is no one type of feminist, regardless of what the media has told us about what feminists look like. Me, I'm obnoxiously femme. I like cleavage, I like my hair, I like wearing flowers, and damn it, I'm a feminist. It's pretty awesome. Sexual health matters, because it does. It's from Planned Parenthood. Alright, and I am pro-choice America. And I am. But I'm not going to put this on my car because I'm not trying to get keyed right now. There's someone right next to me, like, in my parking lot that has one that says, like, it's anti-choice, and I'm not trying to, like, get anything started with them. Alright. What else? Live by choice, not by chance. I really like that. It's a very short statement, very profound. Sweet. I got myself tested. Alright, now at the conference, they did have rapid HIV testing, which I didn't do because, I mean, I get tested regularly, like, and you should too, like, at least once a year, or every time you have a new partner. Whichever happens, because you never know, and it's good to just have the peace of mind, and it's a way of showing that you respect yourself and your partners. So does condom use. So, good stuff. Alright. Oh! The one bit of swag that I did get, this is the only thing that I purchased, was this awesome shirt. It says, "Consent is sexy." Y'all know how much I love consent, because I've blogged about that many a time. And here are a few reasons why consent is sexy. Because having the chance to say yes, yes, yes is super sexy. It makes for good foreplay. Foreplay is always good, of course. Or it should be. You can find out what turns your partner on. You get to talk about what turns you on. It's empowering. It shows you respect your partner and yourself. So is engaging in safe sex. And it means everyone is getting what they want, what they need, and what they deserve. Cannot talk enough about how awesome consent is, and I'm super pumped to wear this when I'm going to sleep, when I'm working out, or when I'm blogging about consent. So, be pumped. Alright. What next? Alright. Plan B. Actually, we're going to talk about fake clinics first, because this is a good segue. Alright. This is just some stuff from different organizations that discuss fake clinics or crisis pregnancy centers. This says anti-choice scare tactics are not okay, enter at your own risk, and just fact versus fiction. Now, what is a crisis pregnancy center? They are places that have no actual medical staff on the premises, and their main purpose is to prevent women from accessing abortion, and they're not upfront about it. Now, I've heard about these for a really long time, and there were places in where I went to school that said, like, crisis pregnancy center. It's like, oh, need a test, like, get a free pregnancy test, blah, 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 blah. But I never actually understood, like, or knew if they were fake, because it sounds so preposterous that someone could be giving out fake medical information. But a couple of years ago, when I lived in Erie, a good friend of mine was coming up to visit, and she found out she was pregnant. She was about 6 weeks, so very, very early, still in the timeline where there are lots of options, and you can have a very, very safe abortion. And she called me, and she's like, hey, give me the number for the Planned Parenthood in Erie so I can schedule an abortion. And I was like, it's so adorable that you think there's a Planned Parenthood in Erie, because there's not. So she came up, and she ended up having to go to Jamestown, New York or something to be able to get her pills. But while we were driving around, we passed, like, a crisis pregnancy center. And she was like, we should just go check that out just to see what they say. Like, let them do all the talking, see what happens. So we walk in, and all of the literature, I should have, like, kept it, because I had it, and I need to go back. But all of it was about abstinence, which, if you're at a freaking crisis pregnancy center, I think it's a bit too late for that. And it was really effing creepy. They had her fill out a form, and I'm not, like, just to kind of explain a little bit, and I'll do a whole blog about this, but, like, underneath her name, it was like, how many people are you here with today? In parentheses, including the baby that's inside you. What the fuck? Also, they gave us tons of bullshit information that wasn't true about links to cancer and abortion, which have been defunct for about 20 effing years. It was just really terrifying, so we need to do something about that. So yeah, that's a topic we'll go over. So, do you have Plan B? This just explains some stuff about emergency contraception, which, as you know, will possibly be able to, like, over the counter very, very soon, which is very, very exciting. The right has made a pretty strong campaign against this, trying to say that it's an abortion pill. And they don't know what they're talking about, or they do and they're just lying. Pretty much, it's called the morning after pill because you need to take it the morning after or as soon as possible. I believe they let you take it up to like 120 hours after intercourse. Now, why do you have to take it right away? Because essentially, the pill has to beat the sperm from fertilizing the egg. If fertilization has already happened, the pill's not going to do anything because you're already pregnant. So, it's not an abortion pill. And that's one of my big beefs with the right and the pro-life community, is that if you really believe that you're right, you wouldn't have to lie. Okay, keeping it moving. Alright, speaking of which, one of the topics that came up was religion and abortion, and there were religious organizations that were there that support women who have abortions and support a woman's right to choose. And someone brought up, like, you know, well, what can we do about the fact that the right is constantly using, like, the Bible against our bodies, against our right to choose? And this one woman who was on a panel discussion, she was like, you know what, like, so many people have it all wrong. There are allies in the religious community. There are leaders in the religious community, scholars, who are doing the exact opposite, who say, no, the Bible supports a woman's right to choose. Y'all know I'm not religious, but I respect people who are, and I think it's important to look into this more because we do have allies and we need to meet up with them. But one of the organizations there was Faith Aloud. As people of religious faith and conviction, Faith Aloud is dedicated to the elimination of the stigma against abortion and sexuality, and I'm excited to look into them more. But just grabbed a few cards from them. This says, godly people support women during crisis. And this one I really, really like. This says, we pray for women for whom pregnancy is not good news, that they know they have choices. I really like that. Alright, moving right along. Okay, here are some stickers. Now, there's this organization there called Stop Patriarchy, and apparently they're like really effing radical, and a lot of people disagreed with their stuff. I didn't really get to talk to any of them personally other than when I grabbed their swag, but I really liked what they were saying, so I'll just go over some of the stuff they had at their table. This is a sticker. It says, imagine, and then over that, create a world without rape. Yes. And then, if you can't imagine sex without porn, you're fucked. Now, I like this. Now, this isn't something I talk about too often because I don't really have a lot of friends, I guess, they don't feel as strongly about this as I do, or they even disagree with me. Lord knows, you know, I've dated guys who really liked porn, which I was not down with. But, like, I effing hate mainstream porn. Why? Because it's pretty much the sexualization of the degradation of women. I know that was a big sentence, but that's pretty much as I could sum it up. A male gets no extra pleasure physically from coming on a woman's face, doing ass to mouth. Those acts are all about degradation. Okay. Alright, now, they have a call to action here. I'm just going to read part of it. Our mission is to challenge the new generation, in particular, to reject this culture of rape and pornography, to resist the shaming of women who have sex and abortions, and to wage fierce cultural and political resistance to wake others up, and to bring forward a liberating culture that celebrates the full equality and liberation of women. Why was this at the CLPP conference? From what I gathered, what I interpreted this as, this is saying that something restricting abortion essentially tells women that we are reduced to our uteruses and that we are breeders. If we do not have autonomy over what happens in here, that is a form of slavery. And women at the conference discussed how it's interesting how a lot of pro-life people target really, really poor Black communities in doing this, and that there's a connection because, once again, it's a minority of women being forced to bear children. That also happened in slavery. Moving on. Okay, so, and they're saying that the mirror image is pornography, which reduces women to sexual objects. who exist for men's pleasure. Now, why do I talk about it like I do? My last long-term boyfriend, when we had discussions about porn, I wanted to be educated about it. I'm like, okay, well, if you're telling me that this is wrong, then I'll look into it. And if you just type in the word porn, the awful stuff that I'm talking about, that's what comes up first. So it's not like I had to search for that stuff, like that's what comes up. And the reason why this is so important, especially I think in our culture in the context of reproductive rights, is because we are living in a culture that gives government funding for abstinence-only education. So when you're not getting educated about sex, like most boys, 12 to 14, that's where they're learning about sex is porn. So a lack of actual education, and then getting education from this medium that puts both men and women in extremely narrow spaces to express sexuality. It's bad news bears. So yeah. Cool. There's this woman who is an artist, and she has a collection that's called 4,000 Years of Choice, and she talked about this book, which I need to find, and she said it really changed her life because it just explained how abortion has been a medical procedure that's been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. It's only very recently that it's become this politically charged thing and been treated as something more than just a medical procedure that women get. And really talking about it from a very positive way, an empowering way, is something that, no, this is something that women do, I'm just going to read a couple of the quotes from them, then I'm going to move on, but I'm going to post her website because I think some of her work is very, very cool. No woman can call herself free who does not own and control her own body. No woman can call herself free until she can choose consciously whether she will or will not be a mother. To be honest, my story isn't tragic or upsetting. It's actually quite simple. I found out I was pregnant and had an abortion a couple days later. Kind of, again, talking about it's not necessarily a traumatic event for every woman. That's a good segue into the next thing. Abortion is a personal decision, not a legal battle. Abortion is healthcare. Good women have abortions. There are few things more sacred or precious than the decisions we make about our bodies and our families. Ooh. I am eternally grateful to the women before me who fought for my rights. Alright, this brings us into our next thing. Healthy coping after an abortion. Now, statistically, the vast majority of women, after having an abortion, experience relief, and they're able to move on with their lives. And women that don't have that experience, typically it's because they had a shitty support system. I talked to a woman who was extremely anti-choice, and I was calling her out. I'm like, you're awful. Like, you keep on saying these things as if you know, but you have no idea. And she's like, well, I had a friend who had an abortion, and it just devastated her for forever. I'm like, yeah, that's because you're a shitty friend who was probably like, I'm so sorry that you murdered your baby, and we're going to go to hell now. So, with that, don't be a dick. 1 in 3 people, okay? So watch what you say around people, and if someone approaches you and tells you that they've had an abortion, be supportive. Because that's going to help affect how they feel about their experience. And just, in general, women, we're intelligent human beings. We think through things. So if we wanted to do something, we don't need you to tell us what to think or how to feel about it. Trust me, she's thought about it. Alright. And actual abortion. This is talking about early abortion options. Now, this is something that, frankly, I was quite ignorant to until fairly recently when I decided I needed to be more educated about this subject. 90% of all abortions take place within the first trimester. Okay? The first trimester. First 12 weeks. And I bring this up because you see these pictures on these anti-choice posters that are have fetuses and all this stuff. And what's really messed up is that none of those are actually real. People will actually go to abortion clinics and steal the waste and then actually shape tissue to try to make it look like something it's not. The fact of the matter is, whether it's through the abortion pill, which is a very simple procedure, like you take a pill at the clinic, you take 4 more at home, and it just kind of happens, or surgery, which is still, you don't even have to be put under, It's obviously a little bit more invasive, both very, very safe. These options are 14 times safer than carrying a baby to term. Now, why do I bring this up? Women, we are awesome. We are the vessels of life. We are the gateway to life. Literally, okay? Like, we're so cool. We deliver life. And that's a big deal, and it's actually dangerous. So, when I hear the right say things like, well, abortion's dangerous, no, first, it's actually a lot safer than carrying a baby to term, which is also why I get upset when people say, why can't you just put it up for adoption? Because you're putting yourself through something dangerous that you shouldn't have to, that you don't want to do. But yes, early abortion options. And sadly, women that do have to wait longer, typically it's because they didn't have the money to have an early abortion, because this really, really affects lower income women. Or there are different laws being passed that make waiting times longer. So it's really no good all around. All right. Lastly, just got some resources for some other websites, sex positive resources. I'll be sure to go through these and post them. And you know, I'm all about a good pun. In query web resources, LGBT stuff, pretty pumped about that. And let's see, lastly, the Bill of Reproductive Rights, which I will not read all of because it's pretty long. And I'm excited to look through this. This is from the Political Research Associates. It's Defending Reproductive Justice, an activist resource kit. Super pumped about this. But yeah, as you can see, there's a whole lot of stuff I'm going to be going over. You can definitely see that I'm super pumped up and ready to go. And I'm excited about sharing information with you more in depth, depending on what topics you're interested in. But yeah, thanks for going through my fun bag of stuff with me. And I will be writing for you soon. Have a good one, guys.